The studio lights of Loose Women gleamed brightly on that fateful afternoon of November 2, 2025, casting a warm yet unforgiving glow over the familiar set where the panel of hosts Denise Welch, Janet Street Porter, Colleen Nolan, and newcomer Gloria Hunaford sat poised with their signature mix of wit, candor, and unfiltered opinions. The audience, a lively crowd of about 200 women in the ITV studio in London, buzzed with anticipation as the themed music swelled, signaling the start of what was billed as a special celebrity guest segment. Ralph Fiennes, the acclaimed British actor known for his brooding intensity in films like Schindler's List and his chilling portrayal of Lord Voldemort in the Harry Potter series, had agreed to appear to promote his latest theatrical venture, a revival of Shakespeare's King Lear at the National Theatre, where he was set to embody the tragic monarch with his trademark gravitas. At 62, Fiennes cut an elegant figure in a tailored navy suit, his salt-and-pepper hair neatly combed, exuding the quiet authority that had made him a staple of both stage and screen. Denise Welch, the fiery Geordie actress and longtime Loose Women stalwart, adjusted her microphone with a mischievous glint in her eye, her blonde bob framing a face etched with decades of bold television moments, from her Coronation Street days to her outspoken advocacy on mental health. As the cameras rolled, host Christine Lampard introduced Fiennes with effusive praise, highlighting his Olivier Awards and his recent directorial efforts, setting a tone of reverence that the audience applauded heartily. Fiennes smiled modestly, crossing his legs as he settled into the plush interview chair, ready to delve into the emotional depths of Lear's descent into madness. Denise Welch's voice cut through the studio hum like a siren's call, laced with that signature northern edge that could charm or challenge in equal measure, as she posed the question that would become the flashpoint. "Ralph, love, you've built this incredible career playing men of immense power and profound regret of Voldemort, Amon Ga tilde th, now Lyra, but let's get real for a moment. In a world where actors like you command millions, how do you square that with the everyday struggles of the working-class folks who fill your theaters? Isn't there a hypocrisy in preaching about vulnerability on stage while living in a Kensington townhouse that could house a small village?" The words landed with the precision of a well-rehearsed soliloquy, but their intent was pure ambush, drawing gasps from the audience and a flicker of surprise across Fiennes' patrician features. He shifted in his seat, his fingers interlacing as if to steady himself, before responding with measured poise. "Denise, art isn't about one's postcode, it's about universal truths that transcend class. I've been fortunate, yes, but that fortune funds productions that give voice to those very struggles you mention." The panel exchanged glances. Colleen Nolan's eyebrows arched in amusement, Janet Street Porter smirking as if she'd seen this rodeo before, while the crowd murmured, a mix of supportive claps and uneasy whispers rippling through the rows. Undeterred, Welch pressed on, her eyes flashing with the fervor of someone who'd long battled her own demons in the public eye, leaning into the microphone as if it were a lifeline. "Oh, come on, Ralph, spare us the lofty ideals. We've had stars waltz in here talking equality, then jet off to tax havens. You're not just an actor, you're a symbol. What about the crew while the lighting techs, the understudies scraping by on minimum wage while you rake in the glory?" Fiennes' jaw tightened imperceptibly, a subtle tell from a man whose micro-expressions had won him critical acclaim, but he countered gracefully, invoking his support for the Actors' Equity Union and his pro bono work with refugee charities, his tone even but edged with a growing firmness. The exchange escalated as Welch, drawing from her own history of outspoken critiques on shows like Celebrity Big Brother, pivoted to a more personal barb, "And let's not forget your personal life via divorces." Affairs splashed across the papers. "Lear's about fractured families, isn't it? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most untouchable of them all?" The studio fell into a hushed tension, the audience frozen as if watching a live theater unraveling before them, with Christine Lampard attempting a hasty intervention. "Ladies, gentlemen, let's keep it light. Ralph, tell us more about the ghost scenes in Lear." But the damage was sown. Fiennes' eyes narrowed, his response laced with a rare heat. "Denise, this isn't therapy hour." The tipping point arrived with the subtlety of a thunderclap, as Denise Welch, her cheeks flushed with the adrenaline of live television combat, unleashed a zinger that crossed from professional critique into the personal quagmire. "Ralph, darling, you've played the monster so convincingly," of Voldemort's sneer, that Nazi commandant's cold stare. "But tell me, does it ever bleed into real life, like when you were caught in that scandal with the air hostess back in '05, shagging in business class while the rest of us queue in economy? Is that the vulnerability you channel for Lear's rage?" The studio erupted, gasps cascading from the front rows backward, a collective intake of breath that sucked the oxygen from the room, while the audience's applause meter swung wildly from shock to schadenfreude. Fiennes' face, usually a canvas of controlled emotion, drained of color before blooming into a deep crimson, his hands gripping the chair arms as if to anchor himself against the tide of indignation. "That's utterly inappropriate, Denise," he stated, his voice a low rumble that built like distant thunder, "and it has no place in a discussion about art or anything else. You're reducing decades of work to gutter press fodder." Welch, undaunted and perhaps fueled by the crowd's mixed cheers, said, some whooping her on as the voice of unvarnished Trutha doubled down. "Oh, please, we're all human, aren't we? Loose Women is about real talk, not scripted sainthood. If you can't handle a bit of heat, maybe stick to the red carpet." The panel fractured in response. Janet Streetporter, with her journalistic nose for blood, leaned in with a wry, "Well, he's got a point. Dina, privacy's not nothing," while Colleen Nolan waved her hands placatingly. "Ladies, let's not air dirty laundry on national telly." Gloria Hunniford, the voice of elder wisdom, suggested a commercial break, but the floor director, sweating under the lights, signaled to push through, the ratings gods demanding every sizzling second. Fiennes, his breath coming in measured bursts, rose halfway from his seat, his posture radiating the coiled energy of a panther cornered, retorting with a sharpness that silenced the murmurs, "This isn't journalism, it's ambush entertainment. I've come here in good faith to share my craft, not to be dissected like some tabloid carcass." Ralph Fiennes' departure from the Loose Women set was a study in restrained fury, his long strides carrying him past the bemused stagehands and toward the green room corridor, the trailing microphone cord snaking behind like a discarded umbilical, still picking up the stunned aftermath until a quick-fingered technician yanked it free. The audience, recovering from the shockwave, burst into a cacophony of reactions, as some standing to applaud his stand, chanting "Ralph, Ralph," in solidarity, others hissing at Welch with calls of "Too far, Den." That echoed off the rafters, while a faction near the back laughed nervously, treating the whole as prime telly fodder. Back on set, Denise Welch sat back, her initial defiance cracking into a defensive posture, shoulders hunching as she muttered to the panel, "What?" He started it with his posh evasions, but her voice lacked conviction, the adrenaline ebbing into doubt under the glare of spotlights that now felt accusatory. Colleen Nolan, ever the mediator, placed a hand on Welch's arm, whispering, "Babe, that landed heavy, you might need to walk it back," while Janet Streetporter, true to form, quipped dryly, "Well, that's one way to boost the Twitter trends," eliciting a smattering of uneasy laughs from the crowd. Christine Lampard, her face a mask of professional poise masking inner panic, ad-libbed a bridge to the break. "What an intense chat, folks, stay with us after these messages for more fiery debates." As the ads rolled, the studio exhaled collectively, crew members scurrying to reset mix and composure, while off-camera, producers huddled in frantic conference, debating damage control scripts and whether to chase Fiennes for a mea culpa soundbite. In the green room, Fiennes paced like a caged Lear, his agenda a harried woman in pearls handing him a glass of water and murmuring apologies. They promised light promo, not this inquisition. He waved it off, his mind already replaying the exchange, not with regret but resolve, the sting of exposure fueling a quiet vow to avoid such formats henceforth. Meanwhile, the social media vortex ignited instantaneously. #Ralph walks off trended within minutes, X-posts flooding with clips ripped from livestream Sigourney fan footage capturing his mic drop in crystalline outrage, praise for his dignity mingling with memes of Voldemort storming Hogwarts faculty meetings. Tabloid alerts pinged phones nationwide. The Sun's splashy Fiennes furry, juxtaposed with Welch's past clashes, while The Guardian pondered the ethics of daytime ambushes in a think-piece skewed for dawn viewers at home, from pensioners in Manchester terraces to young mums in Bristol semis, dissected the drama over tea, some siding with Welch's hold the powerful accountable ethos, others decrying it as bullying masked as banter, the divide mirroring broader societal rifts on celebrity accountability. The morning after the Loose Women implosion dawned with a media frenzy that blanketed Britain like a tabloid fog, headlines screaming from every outlet, Fiennes' epic exit, Welch's wake-up call. Blared the Mirror, complete with slow-motion gifs of his stride away, while the Times offered a more sober "when talk turns toxic," the Ralph Fiennes Walkout, interviewing theater critics who decried the dumbing down of cultural discourse. Social media, that great unfiltered agora, churned relentlessly X threads dissecting Welch's class warrior credentials against Fiennes' out-of-touch elitism, TikToks remixing the clash with dramatic filters, and Instagram stories from celebrities weighing in. Judi Dench's subtle thumbs-down emoji retweet, Ian Cullen's tweet praising Fiennes' princely restraint. Denise Welch, waking to the deluge in her Cheshire home, fortified by strong coffee and her husband Tim Healy's rye support. You poke the bear, love, and it bit back. Posted a defiant thread, "Sorry if I ruffled feathers, but real talk means calling out privilege. Art should serve all, not just the few. #loose women #equality." The response was volcanic, supporters flooding her mentions with heart emojis and tales of their own class struggles, detractors branding her attention-seeking bully with screenshots of Fiennes' humanitarian creds, from his UNRWA ambassadorship to funding scholarships for working-class actors. Across town, Ralph Fiennes retreated to his Notting Hill haven, fielding calls from publicists crafting a narrative of dignified disengagement. His statement to Variety succinct: "I respect bold conversation, but boundaries matter." Grateful for the support and focused on Lear's truths. Rehearsals at the National Theatre that day hummed with hushed solidarity, castmates enveloping him in bear hugs, director Rufus Norris quipping, "Channel this into the Heathsenia pure gold." The incident's aftershocks reverberated through the industry, agents blacklisting Loose Women for high-profile clients, producers brainstorming safe word protocols for guests, and ITV's ratings spiking 40% in the demo, proving Scandal's siren song. Public discourse deepened unexpectedly. Podcasts like The Guilty Feminist hosting Welch for a mea culpa-ish chat, where she admitted, "I pushed too far. His past isn't fair game," while Fiennes guested on BBC Radio 4's Front Row, eloquently unpacking how the spat underscored theatre's role in bridging divides, not widening them. Fans mobilized creatively. Petitions for a Fiennes-Welch reconciliation special garnered 50,000 signatures overnight, fan art depicting them as feuding royals in a Shakespearean duel, and even a viral Change.org call for ethical interviewing charters in daytime TV. The human element emerged poignantly. A Welch revealing in a follow-up interview how her own mental health battles fueled her intensity. Fiennes sharing in a Theatre Mag profile how the ordeal reminded him of Lear's isolation, prompting donations to actors' welfare funds.